What happens when a powerful king meets a simple farmer who speaks the truth? In a land ruled by ego, one moment of humility changed everything. Once upon a time, there was a beautiful kingdom. There lived a powerful king Virendra. He was very powerful, rich and strong. But he had only one negative quality, that was his ego. He thought of himself as greater than everyone else. Also, he believed that his words were the ultimate truth. One day, the king Virendra sat on his grand throne in the palace. As he sat on the palace throne, a thought came to his mind. In my entire kingdom, I am the brilliant man. No one can challenge my thoughts. The king was very angry. Seeing his anger, the palace guard agreed with his word out of fear. The people of the palace praised the king. His ego grew even more. One day, King Virendra decided, I must show my wisdom to the people of the kingdom. As per his thought, he rode on horseback with a few loyal guards to tour his kingdom. The king, along with his guard, continued the journey in his kingdom. He saw the green gardens, the smiling people, the hardworking farmers, and the respectful citizen. Seeing all this, a small happiness sparked in the king's heart. While traveling through his village, he saw an elderly farmer sitting under a large banyan tree. The farmer's face looked peaceful. He was eating a piece of roti and seemed very happy. The king looked at him with curiosity. With arrogance, he asked, Hey old man, do you know who I am? The farmer slowly looked at the king's face. Then he smiled and said, Yes, you are the great King Virendra. The king replied with arrogance, That's all you know about me. There is still more you need to know. The king continued his words, Look, old man, I am the brilliant man in this entire kingdom. No one can ever prove me wrong. The old farmer gave a knowing smile and said, Forgive me. It's true that you are my king. But sometimes even the greatest people can be wrong. Hearing the farmer's word, the king's face turned red. The king shouted, How will you prove it? If you fail to prove it, I'll punish you. Even after the king said all this, the farmer remained calm. The farmer smiled gently and asked the king, O king, can you command the sun to rise from the west tomorrow? The king laughed lightly and said, That's impossible. The sun always rises in the east. The farmer bowed his head and replied to the king, This is indeed the truth. Some truths are beyond the human power. No one can command nature and time. True wisdom lies in accepting this. The king became silent. The farmer's words were simple, but they carried a deep meaning. Never had anyone spoke such a words in front of the king. No one in his palace had ever dared to question him. But the humble words of a farmer brought down the king's pride. The king smiled. For the first time, King Virendra accepted someone else's word. True wisdom is understanding that it's not possible to control everything. The king said, Today I have learned a great lesson from you. Then the king Virendra removed a golden ring from his finger and gave it to the farmer. The king Virendra also said, From now on, instead of speaking more, I will listen more, and I will rule the kingdom with humility. I have realized my mistake. In a single moment, you taught me a lesson that none of my ministers could teach me until now. The king returned to the palace as a changed man. He decided to rule his kingdom with kindness and wisdom. Because of the king's humility, his kingdom flourished even more.